Jeff, how does your preparation change this time of year when the possibility of playing back to back to back?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. We don't know exactly who we'll play yet, but we'll prepare for two teams for the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. And by the time we get to Greensboro tomorrow, hopefully we have an idea of who we'll play, and then we'll start preparation for that. This time of year, you may add a few things, but it's maybe tweaking some stuff and just trying to make sure you're as fresh as you possibly can be.
Jeff, along with that in mind, I know you've mentioned that he's been practicing, but have you or your staff given any thought to activating Dior this week for the tournament? Is that on the table at all?
No.
Is it possible that he could get cleared to play?
No.
Okay. After the game at Miami, you talked about how emotional your team was. How would you just kind of gauge the temperature of the plane ride on the way back? How did everybody feel coming back?
We didn't feel great, but we were proud of the effort, and we've moved on. Now it's into the postseason.
What are the challenges and what's unique about playing a team for the third time in a season?
What are the challenges? I don't know of any challenges, to be honest with you. I mean, you should be pretty familiar with them third time, have a feel for what they do. Maybe they've changed some things, and so that's, for us to find out and to try to learn and be prepared for. But I don't know of any other different challenges besides the normal challenges that you go through when you're playing someone and trying to get prepared for somebody.
Jeff, you guys have lost 3 straight road games now. When you're in a slump like that on the road, is there any temptation to maybe change the preparation process on, just how you go about the day heading into the game?
Sometimes there is, but again, we're not panicked. We've played 3 teams on the road. The last 3 games we've lost on the road, I thought Virginia Tech was desperate and they played their butts off. I thought it was the one time maybe this year in a while that Notre Dame played with purpose. And we played against a heck of a team against Miami and had a chance to win. So I think we'll stick to what we've been doing.
Do you think your players have that same mentality looking at those losses and can point to those certain things as well, or do you think they get discouraged when they...
I think they get discouraged, but it's our job as coaches to try to teach and try to get them to move on. Again, our guys have done a good job all year of moving on to the next thing, and I saw that today.
Coach, did you have to give that message, or are they such a veteran team that they take that message themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I gave the message right after the game when we got back here. I found out yesterday that they met when they got back here in the locker room, and so felt good about that.
Jeff, what is an area or two that you really want to tweak and that's going to be key, especially in tournament play?
We have to defend and rebound better. That's a big thing. We haven't defended well the past few games like we were earlier, and then we didn't rebound against Miami. We have to do that, and just we have to be better in every facet. When you get to this time of year, it's crazy. You've already seen some craziness happen in some of these conference tournaments, that are going on right now, and so. You have to try to not get too emotional. You have to be able to utilize and use emotion the right way. Use it in a positive way, and don't let emotion use you.
Jeff, everybody says that teams with strong guard play have an advantage in these tournaments. In your estimation, why is that?
I think when you have good guards, you have a chance to control the game. They're the guys that have the ball the majority of the time. They're the guys that initiate things. They can determine and dictate pace. They're usually at the forefront of your defense, the guys that are picking up, pressuring, and things like that. So I think that's why people feel that way. I've always felt that way. I don't know if that's because I was a guard, but I've always felt that if you have good guards, you have a chance to win.
Do you think your guys took the disparity in rebounding personally? Do you notice?
I hope so.
Did you notice them talking about it much? Or?
Not today. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's something they talked about when we got back and they met, but they didn't talk about it today.
Jeff, you have been around the ACC for a really long time. What would it mean to you to be named this conference's Coach of the Year?
I mean, obviously it would be a cool award. It would be, to be selected by your peers and by people. But I've tried to live my life not worrying about awards or what other people think. I feel good about what we have done as a coaching staff this year with this group. I feel really, really good about our team and about what we have accomplished and what we can accomplish going forward. That's my focus.
So to follow up on that, would it be more rewarding for you as a coach to see some of your players get ACC recognition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's always at the forefront. Look, I had my time when I played. I had my time, and I enjoyed it, and I was able to win some stuff and to be a part of some really special things. Right now, what I want to try to do is to create moments for them where they can have, some special moments and to accomplish some really cool things.
What's your favorite moment from the ACC tournament, playing in it or coaching in it?
I didn't have much success playing in it when I was a player. I was part of a coaching staff at Duke in 2017 when we won it, so that was probably my favorite.
Coach, on top of that, this is like, you feel different going into the ACC tournament for the first time at Pitt, don't you?
Well, it's good to get a bye. We've been that first game or that first day every year we've been here, so it feels good. It feels good to have more than 6 conference wins. I think we had 6 each year my first 4 years, or it was no more than 6. I know that. So it feels good to, get 14. I mean, that's a heck of a thing to get 14 conference wins. So I feel really good about that and excited about the opportunity that we have.
Jeff, Nate Santos has played in just 13 minutes going back to February 11th. Is there anything going on with him, or could we expect to see some of him on the floor in the ACC tournament?
We can expect to see everyone.
Is he injured?
No.
Some of your three-point shooters, not Blake necessarily, but maybe Greg a little bit, Nelly to some extent, maybe even Nike. Have they seemed, to your eye, maybe a little hesitant in recent games, maybe not having as quick a trigger as they had earlier in the season?
I don't think so. I don't think they have. We may not have, some of those guys may not have made as many, but I don't think they've been hesitant. We don't want them to be hesitant. We want them taking good shots.
Is there anything a coaching staff can do to maybe increase the amount of rebounding you can do?
I don't think there's much you can do for us. Well, maybe some other staffs can. For us right now, we can't do a lot because we don't want to do a lot of physical things. We can't afford an injury. And so there are drills and stuff you can do in practice, but we haven't done rebounding drills all year. We do block out drill. We try to emphasize it, in some of the things that we do. But not like maybe in the past where you get 3-on-3 and it kind of becomes like football. We've had some coaches that put pads on guys. You have some coaches that put a bubble up on the basket and do different things like that. We've been a pretty good rebounding team all year. We just didn't rebound well the other day.
Jeff, when it comes to Federico's development, I know you've talked about how he's coming along offensively, but is he maybe further along on the defensive end than you thought he could have been to start the season?
I don't know because I never put a cap on what he could be. I knew he was just a developing player. I knew that he was a guy that he's really smart and he wants to be good. And so with that, I thought I didn't want to put a cap or think, he can't do this or this is going to take, maybe 2 months instead of a month. I never do that with guys. I just try to go and try to work with him every day and try to help him get better every day, and he's gotten better every day.
Maybe I can rephrase that. For a sophomore coming from a junior college, maybe he's getting a little more adjusted to the American style still, but for a guy that has that past, is he maybe further along than maybe you could have expected?
He's been better than I expected him to be in all facets of the game, yep.
Jeff, I don't think there's many teams in the country that have lost 3 scholarship players and still won 21 games. Has that been the biggest challenge for you as coaching staff and as a team this year?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Not a lot of people have talked about that with us this year. It's interesting. I was thinking about that earlier this morning, and I was talking to a friend of mine about it. And, you try to figure out your team and start to figure it out. I think we got to that where John got injured. Dior's situation. Will was never with us during practice, but there was thought that we could maybe get him back. And so we didn't really start to, develop our identity with this group until around October 9th. I think that's when all these things happened and things like that. And so it took us a little bit of time to figure out who we were and who we had to become, with three guys that you thought would have a significant role in the rotation. I mean, I thought Will, coming into the season, I thought he would be our best defender and most versatile defender. He was playing really well this summer. He had worked, his body's changed. You know, you forget that he was just 17. And I thought, you know, he was going to be, you know, have a pretty significant role for us. Certainly, John was the guy we tried to build everything around. And he was an integral part of helping us get these guys. And then when he got hurt and, then, decided to take a break, and then Dior obviously is talented. And so I think it's a testament to our guys, how they continued to fight, continued to show up, continued to work. And we had to figure things out pretty quickly. We took some lumps to do it, but we were able to keep fighting and figure it out.
Is it too soon to know if those three guys will be back next season?
Yeah, you don't know who's going to be back next season.
Do you want them back?
Of course. Yeah.
Jeff, oh, go ahead, Noah.
When you talk about losing those three guys in the middle of the season and you don't have a lot of time to prepare or adjust, is there almost kind of like a blessing in disguise in that where you're just throwing this group out there and they have to figure it out in the games and it comes a little bit more organically that way?
No, it's not a blessing in disguise, and it happened in October, so we did have a little bit of time before we started playing games. But it's just, you're doing things from the beginning of September, when we finally got together, and you're putting in a system kind of based on what you have there. And then all of a sudden, that changes significantly because you have three guys, and it adjusts. You got to make changes in practice, what you're doing. Now, all of a sudden, we were at 12 scholarship guys. Now we're at 9 with those three guys out. And so it changes everything. And so we had to make some adjustments. But guys stepped up. It gives more opportunity, certainly, for guys, and guys did an amazing job stepping up.
How is this team's identity different from what you thought it might have been with those three guys in the fall?
I thought we would be good, even, when we had those guys. I thought we'd be good. I thought, maybe we'd be a little bit more powerful. We would have more of an inside presence, obviously, with John. That's probably been the biggest difference. We don't have that guy we can just throw it down to that could, get doubled or, foul a whole front court out like we had with John. So that's probably been the biggest adjustment.
One of those guys that have stepped up is Nike, and given what he's gone through, especially from last year, just how refreshing is it to have a guy like that can kind of come in and provide that instant offense, and then it looks like he's seen a bunch of minutes increase, throughout the latter part of the season. What do you think is going to be key for him going into the tournament?
Yeah, he's been great. And you talking about someone starring in their role, he has done that. I've said it from the beginning of the year. I think he's like a 6th starter. I think we have 6 starters. He's a guy that's really a starter for us. He plays starter minutes. He can close games for us. He's helped us win. He brings a different type of energy. He has pop. What I mean by that, and athleticism that we don't have. And he's been tremendous. I mean, it took a while just because when you come off that injury, there's a physical barrier you have to get over, but there's also a mental barrier, that you have to get over. And, you can do it in practice, you can play, but it's different when you're going against someone. So it took a little bit for him to find that rhythm again, but once he found it, he's been unbelievable for us.
Are we too late in the season for you to consider changing a starting lineup and putting him in the starting 5, or are you just really content with what you guys have as far as the rotation?
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm content with what we have.
Greg hasn't shot the ball particularly well over the last couple of games. How was his kind of mentality and demeanor in practice today going through it?
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, I think he made 5 threes in the second half against Syracuse, but he didn't shoot it as well against Notre Dame, and certainly didn't shoot it as well against Miami. That happens. I've always said when you are a guy that shoots the basketball, you got to shoot. You have to have convenient amnesia, and you have to be able to forget very, very quickly. And he shot the ball really well in practice today.
Does he keep that energy and that, all the positive spirit that we see on the court? Does he keep that even when he hits like a?
He can get down a little bit, but we get on him when we see him like that because we need that all the time from him. We need that energy all the time from him.
Coach, you said you don't do rebounding drills. So what was the problem? Was it out of position on Saturday? What did you teach them?
I thought they were more physical than us. It's really interesting because I went back and I looked at our first game against them. They had 1 offensive rebound. I thought we were more physical when we played them here. I think we had 12 or 13 offensive rebounds. And, one of my assistants, told me this morning he watched Larinaga's press conference. That was a point of, emphasis for them. And, it's interesting when I went back and I watched the tape that night, there were times we were in position where they just pushed us out the way. And so I just thought for that game, for whatever reason, they were the more physical team. There were a couple times where like they shot air balls and it was like we thought it was going out of bounds and they have 2 guys going to get it and they get layups. Those are like we have to be able to pursue those and go after them instead of just waiting and hoping that someone else gets it or the ball goes out of bounds.
Jeff, you talked last week about going down to Miami with a go for it attitude. Your guys have that same type of mentality, energy going down to the ACC?
Absolutely. We're really excited. Our guys are really excited. I mean, practice was upbeat today. Really, really positive mindset. And we're anxious. We're just going to try to go win 1 game and see what happens after that. Just win 1. That's what we've talked about all year. Just try to be 1-0. So we're going to try to do that.
Blake, did you think it was going in?
Yeah, I think every shot's going in for sure.
Did you feel good when it left your hands, the last shot?
For sure. Every shot feels like that.
When you went back and watched it, what were your thoughts as you watched how those last 5-7 seconds played out?
My thoughts, honestly, there's a lot of things that goes on to play, but the fact that we even get that opportunity is all you could really ask for, considering how we got out rebounded. So the fact that we even got the opportunity is just a good opportunity, and that shows a lot about this team.
But in your mind, what went wrong and why did you guys get out rebounded the way you guys did?
Just got more rebounds than us. Simple.
Blake, you're a guy who's able to shrug off, a bad shot or a bad loss pretty quickly. What allows you to do that, and how long did it take, you think, the entire team to really put that Miami loss in the past?
Of course it was hard. You know what I mean? But I think it's over now. I think I can honestly say it's behind everybody now.
Blake, after the game, Coach said that it was pretty emotional for you guys going out there Saturday and playing and being in a heated game like that. Just what was that plane ride back Saturday night coming back from Miami to Pittsburgh?
Like any other loss. Nobody was happy about it.
Coach also said you guys met as a team after you guys got back. What did you guys talk about and what was that meeting like?
Just, kind of just wiping off the blow as a team, you know what I mean? Just, all just checking in with each other like everybody good. Because, we lost that opportunity, but there's plenty of opportunities ahead. So that's all it was.
What do you make of this opportunity you have going forward? You have a game against the team you've played against, whether it's Georgia Tech or Florida State. What do you feel about the challenge? What are your thoughts on that challenge coming up later this week?
Another ACC game. None of them are easy.
Like, how excited are you to play in a tournament? It's been a while since you've been in a conference tournament, playing on the national stage. Does that get you any more excited to go out and play some basketball?
Every time I get a chance to play basketball, I'm super excited. So there's really no difference. And I see what you're saying, but there's really no difference. You know what I mean? Another opportunity to play basketball for a team that I've loved playing for all year. So super excited for sure.
That rebounding stat, do you take that personally now going into Wednesday's game?
What mindset?
The rebounding stat from Saturday.
Yeah, it's something we've been saying. I've been talking about rebounding since non-conference season. It's been a thing for this team, and we need to capitalize that to play against anybody, to beat anybody. So, no different feeling than I felt before that last game. We need to rebound. That's just what it is. I think every team needs to rebound.
When you guys had that players-only meeting when you got back here Saturday night, who did most of the talking? What kind of things were said?
JB is the one who called it, and I think it was the right thing to do for sure. And yeah, he did most of the talking. Everybody, I mean, once he broke it off, everybody said their own thing. But just like I said, it was really only about, okay, we didn't do what we were supposed to do, what we felt like we needed to do, but there's other things we need to do ahead of time. So that's all it was about.
I think you hit a couple shots on Saturday, pretty much from the logo. I was curious, how far back are you comfortable taking a shot in a game?
I don't really know. I don't really check my feet before I shoot it. It's just if I think it's a good shot, I'll shoot it.
How far back do you warm up for that kind of stuff? Do you practice taking shots from the logo pregame?
Yeah, I practice shooting a lot of shots for sure.
But even that far back, like, is that part of your warm-up routine, knowing that, hey, I might have open looks all the way back here. I need to make sure I'm prepared to pull up from all the way back here.
Yeah, I'm prepared to shoot, shots from all three levels. It doesn't really matter. It just, whatever is a good shot is what I'm willing to take, what I'm willing to practice.
Like, how valuable was that team meeting, and where do you think you guys are from a mindset standpoint heading down to?
I think the team, just like I said, I think the team meeting was totally necessary to call. I've been involved in, this is my third program I've been involved in, and it's necessary to check in with everybody, how they feel about things going forward. So did it change any mindsets? I don't think so, but that's what the meeting's for, to see if anybody's mindset needs changing. So, but I don't think it changed anybody's mindset. I think it was a good check-in with everybody, and I think we're going to move forward.
Guys on TV made kind of a big deal about your last basket. They gave you 3, but it looks like your foot was over the line. Did you realize that?
Mm-mm.
What kind of a voice is Jamarius in those kind of situations when, you call those players-only meetings and he takes the initiative to talk? What kind of a voice is he for you guys?
He's been the outright leader of this team all year, and that's what the voice we need. You know what I mean? I don't really see anybody else kind of fit to do so as well as he does it. It's a calming voice. It's a down to earth voice, and I'm glad he's there to do that for us.
Like you talked about, you've said it a whole bunch of times. You just love any chance you get to play basketball. Is a tournament like a conference tournament where you get to play every single day? Is that like a different type of enjoyment you get where there's no break in between? It's like throwing it back to the AAU days where it's just next up.
Totally, my favorite type. I've never been one of off days or anything like that. So now there's no other choice but to just keep going. So I absolutely love it.
Why is Jamarius a first-team All-ACC guy in your mind?
Have you seen him play?
I want you to say it. It doesn't matter what I think.
Man, what you see on the court, but what you don't see on the court is actually all first-team ACC as well. That's the part nobody sees, and his preparation is probably on the top of the team. His preparation is there all time. So you can catch him not looking. He's preparing. He's getting ready. Whatever it is, whatever it takes, whatever extra he needs to do. I've been with him one time off the court, and he's just asking random people random questions about how he can improve his body, how he can improve his training, stuff like that. So off the court is the part I don't think people see.
How long did it take you How long did it take for you to realize that Jamarius was that kind of leader, and was it like immediately apparent when you first got here?
No, it actually wasn't. But I mean, just like I'm saying, once you see the preparation, you kind of know this is a different type of preparation I haven't really seen in most people. So I think that's what I seen when he's just preparing, even for practice, like even like small things. You know what I mean? He's doing extra work, stuff like that. Once I seen that, then you become a leader without even saying anything at that point.
Blake, you talked about going through a couple other programs before coming here and kind of growing and learning here at Pitt. How would you assess the season that you've put together this year?
It's hard. It's really hard to say because I really don't feel like it's anywhere close to over. But so far we've been doing okay. Yeah, we won a lot of games. We won a lot of games so far. So I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. And yeah. So if I had to just overall sum it up, we've won. So that's good always.
What about you personally? Where do you feel like you've grown the most as a player?
A lot. I think I always want to be a better teammate, and I think I've became one. understanding teammate, and just more of a competitor. I feel like I've been in more games. That's why people with experience are held at such a high value. So I know how to compete at different times and what's the right things to do in the right situations. I done seen more situations, so I done did a lot of learning. It's really hard to pinpoint what it is exactly.
Like, there's a really good chance your head coach is going to be named ACC Coach of the Year this evening. What would it mean to you and your teammates to see him get his flowers and get that recognition?
I hope so. I mean, he deserves it. He deserves it 100%. I mean, that's another person you got to watch off the court. I mean, you will never see him off the court clearly, but it's more than just it's really more than the X's and O's with him. And I think when you see Coach of the Year, of course he can coach basketball. Clearly, I mean, he wouldn't have the job if he couldn't. But his way of managing a new team like he has this year has been really award worthy. You feel what I'm saying? So like, I'm super happy for that, and that's the part of coaching that I think people don't realize. That's also a huge part of it. Like, you have to manage personalities as well, and he's phenomenal at it.
Blake, if you were to be honored at All ACC, what's the significance for you?
That would be great. One of the best leagues my whole entire life I've known of. So that would be great.
Jamarius, your coach and Blake talked about the players-only meeting that you guys had when you came back from Miami. Blake said that you called it. What made you feel like you needed to call a meeting like that?
Yeah, for me, I just felt like, it's easy for us to hang our heads after 2 tough losses. We knew the stakes. We had an opportunity to, have a share of the conference regular season title. So, we all wanted that. It was in our fingertips, and I didn't want anybody to be dismayed by, the outcome. We still have, tremendous opportunity in the tournament, and, we just want to have our best foot forward moving forward.
How would you gauge the temperature of the room during that meeting?
I would say the temperature was great. Everybody was still locked in at the task at hand and understood that, we still have goals in front of us and that we have the opportunity to continue to write our story, and that was the big takeaway from the meeting.
It seems like things like that often a guy is trying to yell at other guys, like, come on, get it together. But from the way you describe it, it sounds like it was more about making sure everybody stays positive.
Right, yeah, that's all it's about. It's never about condemning one another and being down on one another. It's all about us moving in the right direction. And we took two tough losses. Like I said, it was right there in our fingertips. So just wanted to make sure everybody is still, in the right spirits moving forward.
Everybody, your coach and your player, your teammate, have talked about your leadership qualities this season and even last season. Where do you think that's come from? How are you able to develop leadership qualities like that?
I would just say it comes from experience. I've been in 2 different locker rooms. I've played for different coaches. Different standards were set at different places, and I've been able to learn and, use those tools here.
JB, this is your last ACC tournament. How do you manage that feeling with the feeling that you have games to play and control what happens?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's just about, like we've done all years, taking advantage of the opportunity in front of us. And, for us, that's taking one game at a time. And this is a good experience for us to be able to do it in the ACC tournament. I'm not really thinking about it, as far as like, oh, this is my last, tournament personally. It's about, us winning.
JB, I asked Blake about this. I'll ask you the same thing. What would it mean for you to see your head coach be named ACC Coach of the Year?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. The work that he's put in, the commitment that he showed, the type of energy and positivity that he's had, not only this year but last year when it was rough. And then you see, him take that same mindset and make some improvements and be able to implement it here, and us be able to do what we've done this year. He deserves that accolade.
What about for yourself? A lot would consider you as on the short list of ACC first teamer, maybe even player of the year. What would it mean for you to get those kind of accolades?
Yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot, the work that I've put in. And, a lot of it just attributes to my teammates. None of this would have been possible without my teammates, without us winning. So just, a big tip my hat to everybody in the locker room.
Jamarius, you talked about your postseason experience and playing in postseason tournaments, but there's quite a few players on your team that have had that as well. Nellie's played in the NCAA tournament. Blake certainly has played deep into the season. How does that experience get valued this late in the season, and what does that mean going forward?
Yeah, I mean the experience matters, especially now. Understanding that it's win or go home, and it just comes down to who's going to play harder and smarter. And all of us have that experience, so we just look forward to coming together and putting that on display on the floor.
What have you told guys who maybe don't have that experience about what it's like to play tournament basketball?
Yeah, I mean, for the guys that don't have experience, it's just all about us as veterans, just, to continue to pull them along, continue to give them confidence, continue to push everybody to be fearless in the moments ahead.
Jamarius, what can you guys do as guards to help out from a rebounding aspect?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we just got to do a better job of crashing in, when our guys are leaking back, getting in the fight, trying to help gang rebound. If we see Fetty battling, maybe get in there and throw a elbow in or two, just try to deter some of these guys from getting some rebounds. So that's going to be the challenge moving forward.
After a physical game in Miami, obviously the entire regular season now in the books, how are you feeling physically, health-wise?
Yeah, I feel great. We got a great training staff. Vince has been big with my recovery. And, I feel pretty good going into the tournament. I'm pretty sure the rest of everybody else does as well.
Kind of going home again. Got a lot of people you're going to see on Wednesday?
Yeah, definitely. It's another homecoming. So I'm grateful for, the family and friends that show up and support us.
Jamarius, after the game on Saturday, Coach talked about emotions and how you guys were kind of handling with the loss right after. How would you gauge the temperature of that plane ride coming back? That's not a short plane ride to take back from Miami.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest with you, of course, all of our hearts hurted. Like I said earlier, we felt like we had it in our fingertips. And whenever you have something and grasp, and you don't be able to grab it, it obviously hurts a little bit. But we can take this hurt and use it as fuel.
How do you balance? I mean, from here on out, it's one and done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance kind of the pressure that comes with that with also trying to stay light, trying to stay loose, and keep things kind of lively?
I mean, we got to do what we've always done, and that's continue to play together. It starts there. We lose ourselves in the game. That's how we've been successful, is we don't think about, the outcome or anything like that. We just lose ourselves in a fight, and we continue to fight for our brothers next to each other. So that's only the mindset moving forward, is to continue to lose ourselves in the game.
With it being only one and done, do you feel like that gives you guys a little bit of advantage? It seems like this group kind of plays its best basketball when its back's against the wall.
I mean, we have a lot of guys in our locker room that hate to lose, and, it seems that, we live for big moments. So this is just another test.
In kind of the same vein, is there a little bit more pressure because of the fact that you guys have won a little bit and you have some expectations behind you as opposed to maybe last year where you were, a lower seeded team?
Yeah, I would say no. We just got to do what we do, and that's play our game. And like I said, continue to pull in the same direction as far as a collective. I think if we do that, we'll be happy with the outcome.